YouTube Nation, what is up? Eagles Truth here with you, and okay. 8 days after the Super Bowl, finally I'm recording my Super Bowl thoughts. I actually had a video that night and just never uploaded it. Story of my life. If I actually upload the videos like right away after I did them, I'd probably have a lot more videos on the season, but I wanted to definitely get this up before we get too far removed from the Super Bowl. I think even though it's been 8 days and yeah, we are turning the corner and into the off season, I still think the Super Bowl is somewhat still fresh in our minds. So good time to get this video up. My thoughts. I think first and foremost, you have to give it up for Jalen Hurts. I've never been more proud after a playoff loss, especially a Super Bowl loss, than I am now. Don't get me wrong, it freaking hurts. And every time I think about it, the opportunity we lost, I mean, because, come on, I mean, we had a quarterback on a rookie deal, and we still do, I get it, but we had a stacked team, everything falling into place, seemed like our year. To miss that opportunity, that's what Super Bowls are so, they hurt when you lose them, because it's like an opportunity. You never know when you'll get back. Or, I mean, come on, how many Super Bowls have we even been in our history? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth Super Bowl. We've only been in our entire, out of 57 Super Bowls, we've been in 4 of them. Let that sink in. You just never know when you'll get back. When Aaron Rodgers won his Super Bowl, people thought he'd be back. He'd win a couple more. No. So you just never know. How many Super Bowls have Peyton Manning won? How many has Drew Brees won? You know, you get usually if you're a damn good quarterback or team, you usually get 1 or 2. You know, New England Patriots and Brady are an exception. It looks like these Chiefs are going to be an exception, but you're not guaranteed many opportunities at the big dance. You're just not. So when I think about the opportunity lost, it sucks. It hurts. No pun intended. But I still also can't help but be proud. Jalen Hurts is not the natural passer and quarterback that players like Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and even Trevor Lawrence and some of these guys are. He's not. And the fact that he had to put in so much work to close the gap, and he did, and then to have a Super Bowl like that, that's huge going forward, because all we've seen from him in playoffs is a shitty ass Tampa Bay Bucks game last year where he looked god awful. And then against the Giants this year, he throws for only 100 and some yards. And then in the San Francisco 49ers game, he only throws for 100 and some yards. Now, to be fair, those two games are not equal. The 100 and some yards that he threw against the Giants, he was kicking their ass early, looking like an amazing quarterback early in the first half, to the point where we built up a 28-0 lead. So then in the second half, he didn't have to do anything. Against the Niners, it's a little bit different. Yes, we didn't have to do much in the second half as well because they're crippled with no quarterback. I get that. But it just looked like the entire offense was a struggle against the 49ers defense. So a little bit different there. Actually, even though he only threw for 100 some yards against the Giants, I actually think he played amazing. Against the 49ers, I can't say that. Although he did what he could do, which was don't turn the ball over. Don't make that big mistake to where you make this defense wreck the game, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But in the Super Bowl, to come out and have a game like that, that means he is clutch. That means you can depend on him in those big moments. And that's huge to know that, to see that. You know, doesn't mean if we get to the Super Bowl again, he'll have that amazing of a game again or whatever. It's not a prediction up to the future or anything. It just means that look what he can do in the game's biggest stage. The game's biggest stage wasn't too big for him. And now we know that. So in 2 or 3 years from now, we get deep in the playoffs and maybe get to another Super Bowl. We already know. Like, look, I don't know if he's going to have a good game or a bad game. I don't know. What we do know is the stage is not too big for him. And that's huge. So we learned that. Had an amazing game. There's a couple of those passes, man. The 3rd and 14 pass to Goddard is like, I was just like, oh my God. He is, and there were some other passes. The one to Devontae Smith that was called back, even though I think it was a catch. Why do I think it was a catch? Because I'm just tired when you got to go frame by frame by frame by frame by frame. Man, we're being so technical. We're being so technical. You make that catch in a backyard football game with your friends, it's not coming back. Everyone's taking that and it's a catch. Why can't the NFL just kind of get to that a little bit? It's, oh my God. But that, the one, I mean, that was perfectly thrown right to him. There was another Goddard catch onto the other sideline where it was 3rd down and great coverage, and he just kind of threaded the needle. And then the one to Pascal where he kind of had to bootleg around and get around, and then found Pascal. It's just, notice I didn't mention the AJ Brown throw, because yeah, he chucked it deep and AJ Brown got it. Cool. But I don't consider that one because it wasn't like super in stride, and the defender kind of lost where the ball was at, lost positioning. It was great, awesome, cool. But that's not the throw. That's not one of the throws that I look at. I look for the other ones where it's like, damn, like I don't even, like, shit. He had an amazing game. And I think I hurt more for him not winning it than I do just the Eagles not winning it in general, which is saying something. I'm going to make a point here. When you think of all these teams, even the Kansas City Chiefs, for as good as Mahomes is, and yes, Mahomes is the face of the team because he's a player, they have more spotlight and limelight on them and everything. He should be the face of the team. Should be the face of the NFL. I get it. But that's Andy Reid's team. You know what I'm saying? For as great as Brady was, he's the GOAT. That was Bill Belichick's team. The only exception is the Cowboys. That's not Mike McCarthy's team. That's Jerry Jones's team. But I think the Eagles is the only one where you could probably put the quarterback in that role. This is Jalen Hurts' team. There was a shot during the Devontae Smith catch-no-catch review where Nick Sirianni puts his arm up, like kind of trash talking the Chiefs, and Jalen Hurts puts his arm down. Like, come on, man. Act like you've been there before. Like, he kind of gives him a look like, come on, man. Jalen Hurts is everything you would want in a quarterback, in the leader of your team, as a role model. At the end of this year, even though we lost the Super Bowl, I am so much on the other side of where I was last year. At the end of last year, I wanted Jalen Hurts the hell off this team. Everyone kept saying, oh, but he's got great work ethic and he's a great leader, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. It looks like shit on the field. That's all I care about is results. And I wanted him off. I wanted him and Nick Sirianni off the team. I couldn't stand either one of them. I was like, I was over. I'm like, he's a running back playing quarterback. Like, this is stupid. This ain't working. The rest of the league is laughing at us. And I have to eat the biggest helping of crow ever. Because now, outside of Brian Dawkins, Jalen Hurts might already be my favorite Eagle of all time. And I'm trying hard to make sure I'm not just giving a hot take or like doing a clickbaity stuff and everything. But honestly, I really think that that's true. I might be overreacting, but he's everything I would want in a quarterback. And I feel very confident that next season, he could be even better. Because you know how some people are flash in the pans? How can he be a flash in the pan if he's just working his ass off? I don't know. So that was my first take. Jalen Hurts played out of his mind. He won me over in the biggest way possible, and it's his team. and we know he's not gonna. We now know that he doesn't shrink in the biggest stage. It's not too big for him. And I hurt more that he didn't win the chip than I do that he wasn't win the chip. So that's my first thing. And one last thing before I'm done with Jalen Hurts. He didn't have any help. We didn't run the ball with running backs at like we couldn't run the ball in the Chiefs. Like, and maybe that helped open up things in the passing game, but still, they were great coverages. He still had to thread needles and windows. The Chiefs actually played amazing on defense because they took away our run and they had such tight coverage on our guys. Yes, Devontae Smith at the end of the game got free, and that was a bad play on A.J. Brown, that touchdown as well. But throughout, mostly he had to make pinpoint throws. I mean, we saw it. So the fact that Jalen Hurts didn't have help, Jersey didn't have any help from his defense. He didn't have any help in the running game. The offensive line played good, but he didn't have any help. It was like the Kansas City Chiefs 38, Jalen Hurts 35. You know, like it was like it was a one-man show. So he really put the team on his back, and he left the field tying it up. It's crazy. So, anywho, Jonathan Gannon. Oh my God. Look, I know a lot of kind of what they were doing. Andy Reid, he was making use of that terrible field. With the way they were cutting and putting people in motion and then coming back. They got 2 touchdowns wide open that way. The running game for Kansas City was destroyed us. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think, only threw for 180 yards. 180 yards! But that freaking running game, we could not stop it. I'm glad Jonathan Gannon's leaving. I am. I just hope we get someone in here. And I'm not about the blitzing. I'm not like, oh, we need to blitz a lot. Like, no, if you're around the league average in blitzing, you're fine. And we were. So I'm not, this whole blitzing thing, you need to blitz more, you're being stupid. Stop. Because if you can get there with your front 4, why would you take people out of coverage? You only blitz for 2 reasons. One, if you can't get home with a 4-man rush, which clearly we could since we were the 3rd highest in sacks in NFL history. Clearly we could we did it in this game. But clearly throughout the season we could get there with 4. So the only other reason why you would blitz is just to change it up, to throw a curveball here and there to catch offenses off guard. And as long as you're around the league average in that, you're fine. So the blitz thing is not my biggest thing. My biggest thing is for Jonathan Gannon is every time we play a B+ quarterback, we get gashed. Now, Patrick Mahomes didn't have to gash us as much because, like I said, the running game was working. But anytime he stepped back, like wide open people, he was just dinking and dunking us to death all the way down the field. If it was just this game, look, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Andy Reid, it's the Chiefs offense. Yeah, they're going to get theirs. It's not just this game. Every time we play a B+ quarterback, we get destroyed. What did Jared Goff do to us in week 1? What did Dak Prescott do to us, hanging 40 on us in the second Cowboys game? Like, every time we play a B+ quarterback, we get fucking destroyed, and it needs to change. Yes, great offenses are going to get theirs from time to time. To sit there and think that we're going to be the 85 Bears and all that stuff, that's being unrealistic. It's the NFL. It favors the offenses. It's just the way it is. But my God, Jalen Hurts played out of his mind. Yes, he had that one fumble, and because we lost by 7 or less, it's going to look at as that's what lost the game. We were up by 10 after that at halftime. My thing is Jalen Hurts played out of his mind, put the team on his back. He played so good enough to win, and he couldn't trust his defense. You only needed one stop in the second half. Just one. Just one. Just one fucking stop. So I'm glad Jonathan Gannon's out. I don't know how good or bad Shane Steichen is. You never know how much. Like he was calling the plays. I still don't know if I like the play calling. Way too many wide receiver bubble screens for my liking. Way too many called quarterback runs. I mean, it was almost getting predictable. So with the quarterback's coach now being the offensive coordinator, we'll have to see. I don't know much about him. I don't think we're losing like these, oh my God, amazing coordinators. I think our coaches are not that good. I'm not a big Sirianni fan. I'm not. Maybe he's amazing behind the scenes, but the way he carries himself on game day and this and that and how he is in press conferences. And look, press conferences don't make a head coach. I get it. But oh my God, I just don't like him. I still do not like Nick Sirianni. I think he's a goofball. I think the success of this team was mostly predicated on Jalen Hurts this year. I think the coaches benefited off of Jalen Hurts more so than the other way around, where players usually benefit off the coaches. And I could be wrong. In some ways, I hope I am wrong. In some ways, I hope I'm not, because I really want Jalen Hurts to be that as good as I think he is. But I'm hoping our coaches are good, and I'm just not seeing it. Like, it's all behind the scenes and game planning and this and that and yada yada. And I'm not seeing that much. All I'm seeing is how they act on game day and this and that. It's like, okay, they're not great in front of a camera, but they know what they're doing. And I'm hoping it's that. So we'll see. We'll see who our new defensive coordinator is. I just hope it's not necessarily with the blitzing. I just went there. I hope it's just more with dictating to the offense. I'm tired of the offenses dictating to us and us reacting. If you're always reacting, which defense you're always reacting, I get that, but like I'm talking like really reacting, you're always going to be slower. The offense, that means the offense is ahead of you. They're faster than you, and you're reacting to them. And that just means teams are going to go right down the field. I want to feel like we dictate to the offense. We dictate the terms on defense. And yeah, maybe they catch us with their pants down and get us overhead with a big play here or there. But for the most part, like, we dictate. Like, you're going to have to speed up your thinking when you play the Philadelphia Eagles defense, because we're dictating to you. That's what I want, more so than anything. It's hard to put in words. But I want the Eagles defense to press the issue more so than be passive or reacting to what the offense is doing, if that makes sense. So we'll see. All right, guys. That's it. We'll see what the Eagles do. See what we do with that 10th overall pick. If we're going to draft or if we're going to trade it for a expensive player. Just how much money do we have? I don't understand the cap stuff. I know how he usually makes things work. We had a really amazing roster, and we didn't capitalize with the Super Bowl win. And that hurts. That hurts. But we are in good hands with our quarterback. Peace out, guys.